all, Shark Scrapper here. Well, I'm cutting some boards that I got from the traffic control system. Now, in this case, I believe that's going to be peripheral high, and then the other part is going to be a mid-grade board. So that's why I'm taking the time to separate them like that. And I got to thinking, it's about time to let you all know where we stand financially on this. Did I make any money? Am I losing money? Where do we stand? We still have a few odds and ends, but overall, here's where we're at. I'm sure that none of you will be surprised to learn that these Telecom boards were the ones that made the real money. Now, there were actually two of these really high-grade boards, two kinds. There was the Telecom high-grade, and then there was the gold cap and gold edge and CNC boards. That's all one category. Those are some of the best quality boards that you're going to sell to Board Sort. I had almost 111-ish kind of pounds of those combined. We made almost $800 just on these high-grade Telecom boards and CNC boards. We also had some mid-grade boards and some low-grade boards. That was on the order of 40-ish kind of pounds of those kind of things. So that contributed another 20 some odd dollars. Not a big money maker in the lower end boards, but off of some of these unusual things, we also got some motors or transformers that were sold as electric motors. We did about 200 pounds of all that stuff. So that got us another $70 or so. So there was some nice payback there as well. Wire, holy cow, did we get wire? Wire everywhere. I mean, we had insulated number one, roughly about 10 pounds. We had some Cat 5 wire. We had insulated number two. Now that was the big one, right? Insulated number two. That's this big thick stuff you see there that looks like octopus arms or squid arms or something. Plus all of this ribbon wire and stuff. So almost 90 pounds of insulated number two. And that, the wire all together, the number one, the number two, the Cat 5, we made over $100 just in wire. Shred steel and the frames. Now, I sold one of the frames because the casters were all messed up, so it wasn't good. It wouldn't be good for other people. I'm hanging on to the other frames because there may be utility either in the shark cage or to sell to someone else. But a lot of the internal metal bit pieces, parts, things like these frames for the power supplies and such that I took apart, the little shelving things, and some of those I kept too. But all told, so far I've sold 454 pounds of shred steel. So we've made about 42 bucks just on the shred steel. I don't usually do this, but when I took the other one apart and saw that it was still in very good condition, I figured, you know what? Let's go ahead and give this a try. All right, so far so good, nothing blew up. Now then. Well, the fan's running. Got a weird noise going on here. Well, I suppose I can advertise it as powers up, functional works unknown. Functionality unknown? Anybody out there want to buy it? Y'all want to buy it? Anybody want to buy it? It's for sale. So, to be honest with you, I'm not sure what to ask for the hard drive. I'm starting out at $2,000. It's vintage equipment. It still powers up. It could be a really, really nice piece for someone's collection. Plus, we have all these disc packs. Now, I have had one person that bought one of these disc packs for $100. So we still have all of that. That has not been sold yet. So there's still some more money to be made with this system. Laying it all out as I have been tracking the sales, and the data itself is kind of messy, so I've done what's called a pivot table to summarize everything so far. And what you can see is, 26 pounds of cast aluminum, different piece parts that were in there for $11.70. Aluminum extrusions for $6, sheet aluminum for $8.10, lead acid battery, some clean brass. Here's the Cat 5 that I was talking about. Here's the disc pack that I mentioned. Gold cap boards, and down here are the high Telecom boards. I talked about those. There were some ICs that I took off of one of the boards to do an experiment between in one of my videos about that being Telecom high versus taking the stuff out and selling the ICs and then downgrading it to Telecom low. So there's another $7 in the ICs because I'm not going to put all those ICs back on that board. That's not happening. Here we have more of the wire I was referring to, and you can see how that added up to over $100 in insulated copper wire. Low-grade, mid-grade boards, the various motors and transformers that's sold as motors that came out of all these things. Peripheral high-grade boards, the Telecom boards here, and then the sheet steel. So we have a grand total of $1,182.82 so far. Now there's still a few odds and ends to take care of, but this is it. And again, I don't know what's going to happen with that large hard drive rack. I don't know what's going to happen with some of the other racks that are empty. They're going to get sold. I do have one person who's interested in one of them right now. We're still talking it out. So there's some more potential, but this has gone on long enough, so it's time to just put it all together. We go over here, now we have to decide if I made any money. In order to do that, we have to look at what I spent. So my expenses so far were the original purchase, it was $250, and then the auction site put on their fees, and there's the taxes and those kind of things. So it came out to a total of $302.34. I had to rent a Penske truck in order to pick all this up. You may recall the videos of me unloading it from the Penske truck. So that was $252.68. Fuel for the truck, almost $44. The shipping that you see here, this is me sending boards off to boardsort.com. So it was almost $100 in shipping when it was all said and done. So my total expenses in right now, $698.61. I already told you that we made $1,182, so that means that right now I'm ahead $484. Not bad. Not bad. Now, a lot of you have asked me how much time have I spent on this project. Well, the truth is that it wasn't as long as the videos might suggest. I spread it out because I didn't want to just bombard you with one 4-hour video or something like that. So I don't, and I didn't really pay attention to the time because for me, this was one of those oddball, I've never done this before. It's very interesting. I'm learning my way around it. So I really didn't pay a whole lot of attention to the time. I'm guessing 8 hours was spent in total on this. So I don't know. Let's see. If I did spend 8 hours, what would my labor be? It would be My profit, this divided by 8 hours, so $60 an hour. Now, was that really my rate of return on this? Again, I don't know for sure because I wasn't keeping track of the time. And in this case, the time was not so much of concern to me as just the unusual nature of this scrap and learning about what was in it and sharing it with all of you. And that's a part of my business, right? Part of my business model is making these videos and sharing them with you. So I'm not that worried about that in this case. Bottom line is I didn't lose any hard money. And yeah, my labor may not have been the greatest in the world, but it was a heck of a lot of fun. And I learned a lot. And we still have some good potential money makers in the hard drive and the disks. Hopefully you all have enjoyed this complete series on the traffic control system scrap out. If you haven't seen the complete series, there's a link popping up here that's going to take you to the playlist where I have each and every episode for you to enjoy seeing each one of these cabinets, how they were different, and how I got to this, almost $500 worth of return and had an awful lot of fun. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.